Okay, after doing some grinding here, I think I should be able to cut it down below the body line. So original body line is right here, so it's nice and crisp and still in good shape. The back is maybe got a little bit of surface rust on it, but that's nothing. But yeah, should be able to take her straight across right here, about there, and then it's just a matter of, at least it'll be a smaller piece. I won't have to use that whole patch panel, but I'll just have to kind of knock her around here a bit just to get it fitting with these lines here as well. But it won't be, hopefully won't be too bad. So yeah, get her cut off right there and go from there. Okay, there we go, piece cut out. Still got some good metal here. Just had to pop a couple of spot welds on this side just so I can kind of get this propped up for when doing welding and cleaning up. But anyway, get those welded back up. But yeah, there's a piece right here. That's the back of it, of course. And you know, as you see this piece right here. That's the piece that was welded in before by somebody else on this side. So that piece right there. And of course, they welded right over top of this old rusty metal right here. So basically, a quick patch, filled it up with body fill and covered it up and whatever. But anyway, definitely inevitable that it was gonna blow out like this. So yeah, there we go. There's your piece. So now what I can do is I can actually finish spot welding this piece in here, and then just these little edges right where it is, and that should be just perfect. Or put the other piece in, and I'll just do a little cleanup grinding here just to clean it up, and then we'll treat all this anti-rust and get her all primed and painted up inside there so it doesn't rust anymore, and yeah, start welding the fender piece back on. Alright, so starting to get her cut down here. So we got our piece cut. Of course, it's a little bigger than what we cut out. And so there's our old piece there. So what I did was, in order to try and keep the lengths and all that stuff right, so I've got the body line marked. That's about the middle of the body line. I can tell there. Anyway, I just use a black Sharpie, and I just drew the line straight across. And then what I did was I had this guy up there basically measured down. So basically measured, from the line there down to about where it starts to bend right here on that corner. So from there up to the line, and that was 9.5 inches. And then kind of the same deal over here, from the line down to about where it bends down, right about there. And that measured out to, from the line down, was 9.75 inches. So that should hopefully keep me in the ballpark where it needs to be. So I just got this fitted. So just had this fitted up in there, and I scrapped the line on the back where I had it clamped, and so you can kind of see where the line is right there, right across. That's right at where the cut line is. So what I'll do is I'll cut just above that, and then shave down to it, and go from there. All right, after a bunch of banging and cutting and trimming, knocking around, we got her fitting here, not too bad. Just about ready to think about tack welding, but maybe just a little bit more shaping to do here, kind of up in here, because this patch panel that came, they don't really punch them out properly, and it doesn't really have this contoured ridge line right here. So you kind of got to hammer and dolly and kind of get it to match, and then it it naturally flattens out on the regular panels right here. So it doesn't all, that ridge doesn't come all the way down, so that's fine. But yeah, getting pretty close, I think, to just about ready to weld her up. Okay, different day. So this is what we got going on now. So we got the support welded in here now. Looking pretty good. Shaved down. All the seams are done. Got a good curve to it. Just matched it up to the old one. So now I'm just doing a little more cleanup, and then we'll get some weld through primer on here. The panel, basically got it sitting just about right, looks like, I think. Alright, in there, keeping with the curve. So what I'll do is I'll stitch this seam first up along here, and then we'll just gotta work down here just a little bit, but it'll be easier to help, or to it'll be easier to get her finish shaped down here at the corner with the rest of it welded up. So yeah, we'll get some. So what I'm going to do actually right now is I'm going to get some weld through primer. I'm actually going to prime this up and all down through here, maybe up a little bit up in here, so at least get it covered. And then yeah, we'll start welding up. Okay, so we got using this self-fetching weld through primer. At least wood there looks pretty good. So anyway, so I just got her covered up here now. So we'll give that about 20 minutes to dry, and then we'll start stitching this guy in. Get the edge all cleaned up. Cleaned up the other edge, let's say, as well, and then just sprayed it down. But we'll get her all welded up here as soon as that's dried. And show you what's going on. Okay, getting her welded in here. Just going slow, doing a couple of welds, at least a few inches apart, and then kind of go back. And then basically what I'm doing now after that is, as I'm welding, I'm just trying to keep the metal cool as possible, just so it prevents a little bit of warpage. And then yeah, just going along and stitching her up, and then basically once I've got got a few welds on, then I take this guy on the grinder and just grind the tops down like that, just to keep the heat down, and then come by with the sanding disc just to clean it up and keep it going here. But so far not looking too bad, I don't think. A little banging and knocking around just to kind of straighten it up, but unfortunately, again, this patch panel that I got here is definitely not exactly perfect, that's for sure. But we'll get her looking as good as we can here. Do some, and then just keep working it. That's all we got to do. Just keep working it. So yeah, we'll keep going here. Okay, well, that's pretty much all that seam taken care of. Got a little bit ugly in here. Because I got a couple of blow throughs there, and so I had to kind of work it definitely with the welder a bit, and it's because right under that spot is where this ridge is right here. And so usually when I'm doing this for butt welding and stuff, is take this piece of copper, put it up underneath along the seam, and then this helps to keep the heat down and prevent blow through and all that kind of stuff. But right where that is, like I say, that's where it's right over top of a ridge on that support piece back there. So, but got her covered back in again anyway, at least. And then she's looking, yeah, looking not too bad. Like I say, unfortunately, this patch panel is definitely not perfect. It's just kind of it's the only patch panel that I could find for these lower fender sections here. But I don't know, not too bad. I should be able to take once we get into doing the bodywork and give this a skim of body fill, and then just do block sanding to get her nice and even, and that should pretty much take care of it. But yeah, that's got that seam taken care of pretty much. So now what we're into is now that I've got it kind of set where it is, I got to trim this piece down through here, because in order for it to fit properly, this has got to be about a half an inch wide right here, so all the way up to fit on the body. So just got to trim this down, and it's actually going to be easier. It's going to be easier to trim it here now that I've got it on here now. And then so we'll just trim that down, and then finish just weld this one seam up. Just got to put in a couple of spot welds in a couple of spots here, and then we'll finish off getting the bottom part here spot welded in here, and then here, and a couple here, and then it's just a matter of I just got to finish off with this piece here. I just got to do a little hammer and dolly work right in here, just a little bit, just to get it to kind of match this original ridge line here. I've got it pretty close, but just got to do a little knocking around here, and then just again I'll just stitch it up in here and keep going with that, and yeah, just finish off this corner. So yeah, see what we can do about getting that done, and we'll get back to you. Alright, so different day, but got the majority of the patch in, at least anyway. Jeez, looking not too bad. Got a couple little dings here and there, but she's fairly contour there. Got her about in the right spot, I think. Go to our template here. Get that right in the spot there. Pretty close, I think. Match it to the line. I think I still got a little bit of work to do in the bottom here, though. A little bit more shaping, but she's pretty darn close where she is there now. I just got to do a little bending down the bottom here, I think, and then she should be good. But yeah, it's looking pretty close. Pretty good, I think. You know, again, definitely no professional, but hey, it'll do for the back roads. Any small town, really. So we'll get her finished up here and primered, and show the other side real quick. So we got the other side. There's the other side. There's the brace. Got it all welded up. I just cleaned up the welds just a little bit here, but and then all the way along, got some good penetration in here between the old and the new, so doing not too bad. We'll get this all scrubbed out and primered up, and then the only other thing I got to do, really, got to add a piece. So right where the inner fender well bolts up in here, I got to put one little piece right about here for one more bolt hole. the old panel here to show you. So there's the old one. So that guy more or less comes with, but anyway, gotta get the, kind of a piece like this right in about here somewhere. So we'll get that, measure this up, weld it up, get a piece welded up right in around here somewhere, and that should take care of that last bolt hole for that. And then yeah, it's just a matter of getting her finished her cleaning up here. I do have a little bit of work, actually, a little more work here on this one brace. It's rusted through right here. You can see spot weld broke there. It's just kind of rusted down through here. It hasn't gone right through to the fender, so that's okay. But I should be able to see how I'm going to do it. Either cut it straight here, or maybe this bolt hole here. It's still solid in there. Even though it looks kind of ugly, but it's still pretty solid. I should be able to clean that up without too much problem. On the other side there. But yeah, I should be able to get a piece bent up pretty close to this, and then get that welded back in there, and that should take care of that piece. So we'll get to that, and we'll show you that after that's done. Anyway, different day again. So basically we're working on that small support piece that we cut out of the fender. So this guy here was in here, so we got that all cut out, and just got to do a little more cleaning up in here, just give it a good scrub so that we got some stuff to weld to. But yeah, so we got her cut out, flattened it out, basically traced it out on a spare piece of metal, and here's what we got. So we got her bent up, about the same as what she had, and so she just fits right here, kind of sort of like this, pretty much kind of like that. So just got to tack her on here, tack weld here, and weld her up along there. And then I'm actually going to take I'm just going to take the little nut out of here, clean it up a bit, and I'll actually weld it on the back here, right over top of that hole, and it'll be right exactly where it needs to be in there. So yeah, we'll get to her here and start welding it up. Okay, here we go, welded in, and again, professional, but she's in there, she's solid. I had a little bit of work I had to kind of build up in here a little bit, just because the older metal was kind of thin, so I had to kind of work it and stitch it up a bit. But she's solid and not going anywhere in there, so I think that's looking pretty good. Say I got it flattened out here, got that copper piece over here, and then they're all welded up on this side. And there we go. So I kind of cleaned it up a little bit here. I had to kind of be careful because I couldn't. My grinding wheel's a little bit big, so I just got to be very careful. So I just kind of took the corner off on that nut there, but that's okay. It'll be cleaned up. But anyway, all done. They're in there. Not too bad. Yeah. So now, yeah, that's pretty much the welding done on this fender. So now it's down to get some scrubbing done here, get rid of some of the surface rust on here and down inside, and that. Got the hammer and dolly work done in here because this was all dented up, so that's got that looking not too bad. And then here's the back end of that patch panel that we put in. So like I say, I had to add this tab here for the inner fender well, like this. So that's original there, and so I just had to tack this on here because the patch panel itself doesn't come with this piece right here. So I just gotta, once you get around to that point, then just gotta drill the hole for the inner fender well. But there we go. Not too bad. Alright, and then the inner support here we had to shape and all that. So kind of clean. These welds are all hidden, you're not going to see them. We'll just kind of clean them up there a bit just to kind of smooth them out a bit. But we'll get this all treated and primered and then ready for paint. That, and then we'll flip her up here and show the other side. So again, this is all cosmetic now on this. So we'll get this all stripped down and get rid of all these scratches. Deal with a little bit of rust there, but that should be just still surface rust. But we'll treat that and make sure that it's smoothed out. And then yeah, here's the other side. So again, this is where I had to do a little hammer and dolly work in through here, kind of get this all smoothed out. So now we're, I guess, looking not too bad here. We'll get so we'll start once we start sanding it down, we'll get some skim coat of body fill and then get block sanding, get that all smoothed out and looking pretty again. All up in here, get rid of all that. Right. And then back over towards that panel right there. And again, now we're kind of just down to, and we'll get a skim coat of body fill on here and then get block sanding, get this all cleaned up. I gotta kind of work this out just a little bit more. So put it up against the car there, and there's just a little bit more of a gap here than there should be, but I think I can work that. I've watched some guys when they're doing gaps and adjusting them and shaving them down with, like, you know, you get your body fill and then shaving it down properly and all that. But anyway, get that worked in. But yeah, there she is. Not too bad. So, yeah, next time we see this fender, we'll be getting her stripped down and blocks. Get the body fill on here and start block sanding and then getting it smoothed out and ready for final primer. And yeah, go from there. So next, I'm going to work on the right fender. Basically, same patch panel. Probably going to be doing exactly the same. The other one, it's rusted up to about the same spot as where this was, but the good thing about it is the inner support is not rusted out, so won't have to worry about that. And yeah, so we'll see you on the next one. Talk to you later.